Hi everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. On today's episode, a garden tour before I tour all of your gardens. Welcome everyone inside the passive solar green frame on a gray day. Another rain system went through this morning, one yesterday, one the day before. It just continues, the rain, but the trees are super happy. So I thought, what a great opportunity to take you on a tour of my garden before I take the big road trip. For those of you new to the channel or have no idea what I'm talking about, and for everybody else, let's talk about the road trip just a little bit here throughout this episode. So I'm going to talk about where I'm going and how that's going to look in a little bit, but I am taking a road trip east of the Mississippi to come see all of your gardens. Now I've connected with about a dozen to 15 folks out there already, and I should have plenty of places to go visit. So I'm going to go see the Chicago Botanical Gardens. I'm going to go see the National Bonsai Penjing Museum out in Washington, D.C. I'm going to go to Massachusetts. I'm going to be all over seeing some really amazing bonsai collections, including viewers. And Steve from Steve's Backyard Bonsai, if you haven't checked out his channel yet, please go see some of the stuff he has done. His landscape and his artwork and his bonsai is amazing. I get to go spend a day with Steve from Steve's Backyard Bonsai on almost the furthest east part of the trip. I'm going to see him, stop there for a day and rest and hang with him, and then we're going to head back towards my neck of the woods and catch some more bonsai along the way. It's a massive road trip. I hope you go along. We'll be broadcasting live. I'll be uploading as many shorts and videos as I can. It's going to be a blast, and the reception from you all have been fantastic. Thanks for all your support and encouragement. So I have one more request, and then we're going to go take a tour of my garden, and then we're going to work on a tree too within that tour, and then we're also going to talk about more specifically where I'm going to be just 2 weeks out from the road trip beginning. Here's what I need from all of you. So in my travels, if there's time, a lot of people are kind of laughing at all the things I'm trying to do in this trip, but if there's time when I get to a location, if I have an hour to kill, 2 hours to kill, anywhere near where I reside for the night, I'm going to try to go on a few hikes, because I'm going to be in the car a lot, I'm going to be looking at bonsai tree a lot, and I'm a mover. I kind of have to move my body, and so I want to go on some hikes, maybe some Shinrin Yoku in your neck of the woods. So whether I'm coming to see you specifically or not on this bonsai road trip journey, I might be able to go on a really cool hiking trip that you've been on close to where I'm going to be. So again, where I'm going to be coming up a little bit later on the show, but right now, start thinking about it, please, and send me some comments below. If you were on my path on this road trip, where is a hiking spot that you would say, oh, Dave, that's a must-see? All right, so think of those places that I can go. In the meantime, hey, let's go outside and see my trees. Let's do that now. We'll start this morning with the shaded bonsai bench. And on the bottom there are all the trees. We've got some tiger bark ficus and green island ficus. Those are all for the workshop for Minnesota Bonsai Society. But then on the benches, up on top, we have a couple of my trees. So let's take a look at some of those. So we have a Japanese maple or two, the far right, and then the third one from the right. And that tall one in the middle there is just some form of a berry bush. And it all kind of died back, and I cut it back thinking it was a goner. And I got those three little sprigs growing right there. So, again, nothing's done until a bonsai's dead. We have a little goldfish plant there on the right. Hasn't bloomed yet this summer, but it's real healthy. And then just a melon seed ficus that's been a cutting from several years. The burning bush there on the right. Now that burning bush is done growing for the season. It's kind of hardened off, and that's going to set buds for next year. Haven't done much to it except for just a little bit of a trim. And next to it is one of my slabs. My slab there on a upstate New York slab from my brother's place. And got that little bit of sphagnum moss on there. That's turned into a little bit of a green oasis, if you will. Got a couple of
larches on there and Zelkova. And then next to that, got another little tiny goldfish plant. That one's really looking robust, but no buds yet. And right next to that, another Japanese maple. It's got a bigger weed in it than a tree, it looks like. And to the right of it there, we have a melon seed, not a melon seed, that's a narrow leaf ficus that had a big chop in it. And then I just left it shoot out all summer, so we've got all that growth down below. Then as we move a little bit further to the left on the benches, we have just a maple grove. Those are all seedlings from the neighbor's tree above me. And I just keep keeping them, and you know, we'll see what we'll do with them, put them in a forest someday. But my favorite tree, one of my favorite trees right now still is the barberry from my father. And I only trimmed a few tips early spring, and I've just left this thing to shoot out and thicken up. And I've got all those runners, 5, 6, 7 runners. And we'll cut that up a little bit here in the fall. We have the original benches of my garden. These have been here the longest. And they have all the pines, all the junipers, a couple of succulents on there, the ones that really love the full sun. Got Candace's cascading juniper right there. You can see how that's filling out nicely this year. After we wired that, you can go back and look at an episode and see that tree being wired. Thanksgiving cactuses, the back two there are the daughter and son of the mother or father tree right here. And right next to that, another of the narrowleaf ficus. Now that one, again, I chopped it in the plant room and left it just shoot out all summer long. Excuse me. Look at all that growth. Candace's juniper over a rock behind that. And a couple of ficus trees and Porch afras. Behind the ficuses there, those are the tiger bark ficus and the green island ficus. We have my tree from Dave Severson through Candace. And there's the old larch back there, putting on a second flush of growth. Really slow grower this year, but it just started to push out that second growth. It's liking things back there. And next to that, we have the birch clump. Shot up a whole bunch of new growth this year from the 3 suckers in the middle of the planting. We had the one trunk die off there in the back. And this one over here only has 1 branch left to it. So I might be losing 2 trees, but I'll still have 5 in there if I lose those 2 trees. And I did trim down the maple trees pretty heavily about a month ago. Got rid of the big leaves. It's shooting up a whole bunch of little ones. The Birch Forest, looking happy. Got one of my larch forests. I put this together when I did a larch workshop with some folks in my garage, and this is one I put together real quick. This is from the backside. We have the eastern red cedar that was collected, Yamadori style, urban Yamadori. It's putting out another flush of tips there after I pruned it earlier this year, so that's looking fun. Another rain system came through this morning. It rained yesterday. It rained Saturday. I haven't had a water for so long again. The trees are loving Mother Nature's water plan. Well, I wanted to show you one other one. This is a Siberian fir that my friend Neil Kruger dug out of the ground at the tree farm where I have Bonsai acres right now. And it's putting on a whole bunch of little buds right here. Let's get a little bit closer. See the green buds down there? But it put on a whole bunch of growth up top this year. Very top heavy. But super healthy after a couple years in this pot, so I'm excited to do something with that tree. Now the plan is, I'm gonna take a branch splitter, and I'm gonna split that and bend it a little bit, put some raffia around there and wire, and get that to get some character, because it is stick straight right there for a good 1.5 feet. So we'll work on that one. Next up on the garden tour, we've got the white pine back there. We've got the larch, the big larch, and you'll notice a little bit of death on top, but the reason why it died is because of all the bonfires I've been having, getting rid of the ash tree, and it was a little too close for comfort. So I got a little, not really singed, but just the heat damage. So there's what you can see with heat damage. The tree is fine. Everything's gonna bounce back. We got a little bit of heat damage because it got a little bit too close. And here is the boxwood over the rock, Love and Life too. We had a lot of extra firewood because we were starting to take down that second ash tree. Toby was up there getting down that first third of the tree just the other day. Here's a quick clip of a couple of the downing of those branches.
Okay, you ready? Ready. Here I go. Jake, get loose.
Get a load of this.
What?
Say, get a load of this.
What?
Just wait for it. Can I get some slack? Gravity, baby.
Gravity. Hold on, man. Hold on.
What's up?
And not a bonsai was touched, thanks to the cabin cold frame. Woohoo! Close call.
Real close, but we're good.
Way to go, Toby.
Way to go.
Thumbs up, man.
Minnesota Forest number 2. Got the suckers down below still wanting to get bigger. Trees in the back doing fine. The black spruce, the Alberta spruce. I just thinned it out recently. Again, this was a little close to the fire for comfort. So we got a little bit of leaves that turned a little bit of brown. Cut all those off, kind of like a partial defoliation. They're doing okay. And then we have the large forest. Also pretty happy there. I had something happen to the back right tree. I'm not sure what it was. But new growth is shooting out, so it's replacing the old. I did spray it with a little bit of a fungicide. And boy, these trees are really liking it this year with all this rain. We have the Amur clump and the trident maple. Amur clump I did trim recently again. I'm leaving that really tall sprig up there. That is a growth from behind back there. You can just see it there by my fingertip, and it grows way up. I'm keeping that long one for what might become a 4-tree clump style. And then this guy, I did that thread graft, 3 of them. Too late in the season. I probably should have done it earlier when I had no buds opening up on the branches. And as I get closer, none of them took. I already cut the one off in the middle there, and the one on top and the one down below. They died off. So we'll have to try again next year, but much sooner in the year, I think. And the Dawn Redwood Forest from Candace. Look at the growth on the top of that, everybody. Look at how much growth that has put on. Really haven't touched that one this summer. I got to learn more about these Dawn Redwoods. I'll have to go visit Steve in Steve's backyard bonsai. He's talked a lot about Candace's tips of pruning these. I think I'm gonna have to have a consultation with Steve. Are you ready for that, Steve? And as you can see, the garden in general is just super, super lovely. But look at this, everybody. Are you familiar with mums? They bloom in fall. It is July. It is the middle of July. And look at the mums. That's absolutely crazy. And within the mums and all my lilies is one of my large trees. Kind of hard to see it with all the greenery behind it. But that's the back side because I just flipped it so it would get more growth a little bit in that back, getting that sun. Don't forget to flip your trees once in a while, everybody. There's the 3-trunk tree, everybody, that we did earlier in the spring, the 3-trunk Zelkova. Next to a very little Benjamina, variegated. And we can't forget the Triangularis variegated, Triangularis ficus. Those leaves, I believe, look so much like a ginkgo biloba. So some trees on the benches there. Up past the yellow lilies, beautiful daylilies. We have the bench with the barberry from my dad, the big boxwood in the middle there with a little boxwood next to it. And then the potpourri from Henry, which has some willows in there. Those are the Zelkova forests, everybody. 1, 2, 3 in a row. Yeah, they sure like it there. It's, again, partial sun, partial shade. And what tree is back over there on the cabin cold frame? Can y'all see Candace's windswept Chinese elm? Now what you might not be able to see as well is all the growth shooting up on that thing. So we'll pull that out in a second, show it to you, because I want to show you that one today. And as we back up on the cabin cold frame, we have a whole bunch of miscellaneous stuff. We've got pines in there, we've got boxwoods in there, we've got larch up top, and we've got Jake's Cotoneaster there that's getting a little bit out of sorts. Jake and I have to work on that. That'll be in an upcoming video as well. That thing's just sprawling. Let's head into the passive solar green frame, everybody. We start on the right side, looking out of the PSGF from the south-facing window. And we got some PAs on the edge here. We got a brushed cherry little forest back here, some narrow leaf ficus work. Up here on this blue pot, this is the acacia tree. I lost one of them, but there's the acacia. They close up at night, and they open up during the day. Coming more in here in the passive solar going to the left. I have the bridge made of the Porch from Candace. We got my ficus forest there. Christmas cactus, really tiny little jade tree here. One of my friends from the club, Matt, made this pot. He made a couple pots, got into pot making for a little bit there. That was a fun tree. Just trimmed that one up. We got some more ficuses, some PAs, my Scheffleras in here, variegated Benjamina forest, Mingoralia cutting over there, and this guy. Who can forget the helping hands? Yeah. Look at that grass, everybody. I just gave it a haircut a few days ago. We better give it another haircut. So just like your grass out front, mowing it at least every week, maybe every 5 to 6 days with the rain we've been having. Apparently the last storm that went through had baseball-size hail just north of us. Didn't come into the Woodbury area, thank goodness. Baseball-size hail, y'all, would wreak a little bit of havoc on my tree. Oh no, we just cut the root off. Oh, Dave. That root was right there. I just went too fast and cut this root off. We might have to put some bonsai soil here and get this thing to grow again. Here's the other root right here, and the real thick root is right there. Yeah, I'm not going to make that mistake twice. Get those first. See what happens when you go too fast, everybody? Slow down. Now that was the smallest of the 3 roots, but it was roots nonetheless. And I was hopeful that I was going to have some nice root over fingertips here down the road. But we'll get there. Well, there we have a little trim up of the grass. We had a little accident today because Dave was going too fast and we cut this root here. So we're going to put some bonsai soil right there. So I happen to have some just sitting right here from a pot from a recent planting that didn't go, or it was a repot of some succulents. But we're going to go ahead and try to put this right here. I think we need that rock right there. I don't think that rock's going to stand there. The rock's just not going to stand there. Jades and mini jades, they will root just from a leaf. So if I keep this wet right in here with these rocks, bonsai soil, just maybe we'll get some recovery of roots there. Now the challenge with that is I'm going to have to water that multiple times a day, just right in that area. It's not staying on real well when it's dry, but as you can see, when it's wet, it holds the shape a little bit better. And I've covered that root now, so that root might survive. And if it doesn't, I've got the other two. No worries there. This is a piece of art in progress. So we will just keep trying. There we go. We settled some rocks in there. So we hope that guy will do good things. All right, we touched it up. I promised you all a close-up look of the weeping elm tree. Now back this spring, after the first flush of growth, I did clip a few branches. And I left a few on as runners. And I also turned the plant facing the sun, so the sun was out here in front. So in other words, the sun was up here most of the day, coming here, so the tree would grow this way. And so this is a nice update for you. And look at the leaves growing this way. Now there's a couple that are growing up this way. This is growing back. This is growing back. All of these have added and grown back since I did the last video on this tree. This one back here. But look at all of these. And this guy right here is really thickening up nicely. And it's coming from this branch here, this main branch. So this is thickening up this whole structure here. And I could almost wire this one down now, like this. I could wire these down and get it even more windswept. But these are very pliable branches. I'll be able to wire this later this fall. I'll probably do it this fall once I give it uh-oh! Look what's happening! My alarm's going off, and so is the mister, y'all. Sorry about the audio there, but we have the misters going on in the middle of filming. That's kind of funny. As a matter of fact, let's just shut the misters off. I'll show you how I can do this on my app. I'm in the PSGF, so I'm getting slower reception for some reason. Well, come on. Let's pop into gear here. Oh, come on. That's ridiculous. Oh, there it is. Why won't it shut off? Ah, there it shut off. So my app, I was able to show what it was doing, and it turned off after actually 2 minutes of going. It wouldn't let me interrupt at that time. So now my plan is turned off for the rest of the day. There's nothing on because it's overcast. If that changes, I can go ahead and turn all those on. So we had misting in the passive solar green frame in the middle of filming. I love that. Okay, let's get back at the work at hand. No work, just explanation. Again, we can tuck all these this way at a future point. We won't do that now. This one is one I left on. It's real nice and thick. This one I left on. It's real nice and thick. And look, it's subdivided. 2 over here, 1 over here. That one's really nice. This one's a little bit thicker. This one's a little bit thicker. Down here we got a couple. This is just really nice, fantastic growth. Now, could I cut it now in middle of July rather? I could. But I'm going to let all of these shoot out the rest of this season. I'm just going to let them thicken up. Then we're going to cut them back to shape, and these grow so fast and furiously, as you can see. This is the second growth of the year. I'll have no problem picking my winners. And you can see how dense it is inside with all the little foliage. So look at how dense all that is, everybody. Dense little foliage, and this is stuff that's letting to run and get bigger, and so the leaves are getting bigger. So if I were to trim these back and kept them into shape, in a more ramified, more dun tree, if you let this go crazy on a ramified dun tree, this is going to explode and make it look not very good anymore. So I would be keeping it to its shape multiple times a year normally, but I want this to shoot out, thicken up some of these inner branches, and so we can start working on the secondary branches of this design. So we'll put this back on the bench, facing towards the sun, and let it grow the rest of the summer. A really fun species that is really doing well in its location. And Candace set this one up so nicely, and I'm so proud to be able to keep working on this tree. Up here on the porch, we got a couple PAs as centerpieces. Got the grapewood project there, just a little bit of a forest. And behind there, we have a money tree and the hibiscus. Money tree split after we cut it. Hibiscus is still trying to get some roots at the air layer there. If you look at the bottom of the pot there, we had a flower flower popped out right there somewhere. Just one. 40-year-old ficus, everyone. Looking pretty good. It's loving this warm. We've had a lot of humidity, dew points in the upper 60s the last couple days. This ficus tree is super happy. The 40-year-old ficus with the really nice nabari down there. Get a close-up of that nabari for you folks. Look at that. The cuts are still a little bit ugly, but in time, we hope that can turn into a beauty. Up on the railing, got a really nice 3-clump style ficus tree there, a couple more PAs. You've got all the larch that I love so much. We got PAs down here. A whole bunch in different various zones. Here's my tiger bark. Tiger bark's not looking too bad. We pruned it just a little bit ago. Just circle around that. Looks kind of fun. A couple more PAs in front of it. Lots of PAs here. And the final corner of the deck. I was just watching one of Nigel's shows, going to see Michael's garden and the garden tour, the KW Bonsai Society, talking about his citrus tree having a growth spurt, and then like, yeah, who knows when the next one will be. This is a client tree I've been taking care of, and look at the growth on that citrus tree. It just absolutely exploded here on the deck. And we're just gonna leave it alone because who knows when the next growth will be. Remember my little gem spruce? Putting out a second flush of growth this year. Fun little tree. Porch got the Dracaena down there. A lot of PAs, larches, more succulent trees, many jades, as far as the eye can see. And the last tree we'll show you today is my Melina. Now, like the citrus tree I just talked about, this Melina, if I were to cut off all these suckers right now, well, they're not suckers, they're branches that are growing, they're shooting out. But if I cut it off right now, it would kind of slow down growing, and it's the middle of July. So I'm just gonna let this guy continue to shoot out. I'm gonna let this guy shoot out, and then I'll trim it before I bring it in the plant room. Then it'll go like, hey, what did you do to me? And then it'll get acclimated to the plant room and set out some more growth throughout the winter season. So the Melina, putting out a lot of growth, loving that. The trees are loving the deck space. Kind of running out of deck space, aren't I?
My trees are all looking really, really good. Now, a couple of tough spots there because of not thinking very clearly. And my bonfire, not my bonsai, my bonfire from the ash tree got a little close to some of my trees. Yeah, I have to settle down there a little bit. So I just clipped off those dry clippings, and everything else is shooting up and looking great. I think we'll be just fine. But oh, wasn't a critter chop this time. It was Dave's just moving too fast. The trees are looking nice. So we had a chance to look at the Candace weeping elm up close, a little bit closer, and we had the chance to look at the helping hands, cutting that grass every 5 to 6 days. Oh my gosh, it grows like a weed. Yep, I decided to put grass there. It was my own fault, but I snipped that root accidentally. Oh man, again, I'm moving too fast. I just can't slow down, man. The passion just gets me going, and I dig in. Lessons learned, I hope, for you all. Take your time, take your time. Patience, Danielson, from Mr. Miyagi. Okay, so the road trip. As we finish up our program today, I hope you stuck around, and for those interested, here is what's happening. I've got so much on my itinerary. It's about 4 or 5 pages long now, but it's kind of spaced out there. I'm going to start off my trip in Chicago. I am going to the Chicago Botanical Gardens for sure. From there, no specifics, but from there, because time and construction and people's visits, it's all going to determine. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to head to Indianapolis. After Indianapolis, I intend to hit Cincinnati and then Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In Pittsburgh, I'm going to be seeing the Phipps Conservatory. After the Phipps, eventually I'm going to make my way to Bedford, Pennsylvania. From the Pittsburgh and Bedford area, I'm going to move on to Washington, D.C. I'm going to kind of go down and east, and I'm going to head to the National Bonsai and Penjing Museum in Washington, D.C., and I have an interview set up for there as well. It's going to be fun. And then from there, I've heard by a lot of you folks out there that I have to see the Longwood Gardens And so I'm going to go there. And so that's over in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, for Longwood Gardens. And then someone said to me, hey Dave, you got to go to Ott's Exotic Plants. Has anybody been to Ott's Exotic Plants in the PA area? Yeah, we're going to be going to Schwenksville, Pennsylvania, if I said that right. And then we're going to go to Perkasie for Bucks Country or Bucks County Bonsai. I'm probably saying those wrong. So there's the PA part of the trip. And then I'm going to go see my friend over in Long Island, Steve from Steve's Backyard Bonsai. After a day with Steve's Backyard Bonsai, we're going to collaborate there and hopefully get a couple videos made for y'all. And then we're heading to Massachusetts. Well, I say we, but that's me. I'm heading to Massachusetts, and I'm going to be going to Bonsai West, which again, a lot of you recommended that I go see. That made the itinerary because of all the feedback from you folks. So Bonsai West, I'm going to hopefully see a bunch of people there. We might have a small group if you're willing to head to Bonsai West somewhere in the neighborhood of the weekend of August 3rd and 4th. That's all I'll say for right now. Massachusetts area. And then I'm heading to my brother's bonsai garden. No, it's not a bonsai garden. He and his wife run a beer garden with bread. He bakes the bread, she does the beer. Gilboa, New York. If you want to go to Weiss Ferments in upstate New York in Gilboa, go see my brother and his wife Erica. Brian and Erica have the best bread and beer in town, probably in upstate New York. You gotta go there. So I'm gonna be there, and guess what? Toby's gonna be there. We get to say hello to Toby because he's going out there to help them with the brewery and the bread baking facilities they have there. Super exciting. Then I'm heading up towards Buffalo, New York, and then I'm going to meet the one and only William Vilvanis. So Bill Vilvanis and I are going to sit down and talk about bonsai. So he does the national show every other year. I can't wait to talk with Bill. He just answered the phone when I was given this cell number, and it was Bill Vilvanis. Oh my gosh, we're going to talk with Bill, and then we're going to head over to my friends in Toronto area. We're going to meet up with Nigel. We're going to meet up with Jay from Blue Jay Bonsai, and some of the people from the KW Bonsai Society, which I just watched Nigel's show. They toured Michael's garden. Beautiful garden, Michael, if you're watching. And then we head and finish our trip in Michigan. So we're going to head to Ann Arbor again. We're going to visit Mathai Botanical Garden and Nichols Arboretum, part of the University of Michigan program. We'll wrap things up then in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the Frederick Meyer Garden and Bonsai exhibit, where then I intend to go to Muskegon, Michigan, take the ferry on over to Wisconsin, and drive home. Humdinger of a road trip. I cannot wait. I've met a lot of people through the years on my bonsai channel, and some of them have become good friends. I'm going to see some of those folks. And in between, I'm seeing some of the folks that have reached out. Thank you so much with your suggestions. And we're going to see a lot of bonsai. There's so much to see, and unfortunately, so little time. I'm going to be on the road for 9 to 10 days, but boy, you can only squeeze in so much. And if the road weariness of me just gets me, I might have to even cross a couple off my list. I hope not. So that's the road trip coming up. I hope you stay tuned. Again, we'll have shorts, we'll have live stuff. And it should be a really, really good time. Thanks to everybody in advance for everything you do for me on the trip, and you've already done for me. I do appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Incidentally, I hit 6,000 subscribers in the last couple of days, and I just can't be more thankful for all the viewers and all the support of Dave's Bonsai. Any updates on the land? You're going to have to wait for another show. What's going on with the land, Bonsai Acres? Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope I see you on the road, and everybody else, I hope I see you through the old technology on the old YouTube. Take care of you, take care of your bonsai, and we are going to see all of you a lot very, very soon.